Now, it didn't take long for President Trump to jump into the sexual misconduct allegations about, or I should say, against Senator Al Franken. Now, yesterday, of course, it came out that Franken had groped an anchor back in 2006 and had at one point kissed her without consent. That would be, I guess, misdemeanor sexual assault. Now, President Trump, of course, when he heard the news, gleefully took to Twitter and tweeted this. He said, "The Al Frankenstein picture is really bad. Speaks 1,000 words. Where do his hands go in pictures 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 while she sleeps?" Now, there is no pictures, as far as I know, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And he did actually apologize for doing that as well. And she actually did accept his apology. So, but anyway, he continues, and to think that this last week he was lecturing anyone who would listen about sexual harassment and respect for women. Leslie Stahl tape? Question mark. So look at Franken. No respect for women. Let me tell you what, I have tremendous respect for women. How dare he lecture anybody on sexual assault? Really? Dude, again, this is the guy who was caught in the Access Hollywood tape talking about grabbing women's genitals. In fact, I've got some of that tape. Let's watch.
You and I will walk in.
Oh my God.
Maybe it's a different one.
Better not be the post. No, it's her.
Yeah, that's her, with the gold. I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything.
He said it. And not only did he say those words, but he also lived up to them, as I'm going to get to. But, so there would be a good example of clear hypocrisy. Here's you saying, "Oh man, I just kissed him. I don't even wait." You get Tic Tacs, man. Tic Tacs. You know what? That's actually kind of what Al Franken had done. And it's actually him, kissing that woman is actually worse than the picture, in my opinion. It's not good either way, but seriously. Maybe it had been better for Trump if he had had some Tic Tacs first. I don't know. Or was a Republican. I mean, look, again, here he is tweeting immediately about Al Franken. Well, okay, so he does that. Well, I'm sure he must have at some point talked about Roy Moore, right? Now, Roy Moore has, of course, been accused by multiple women of both sexual harassment and assault. And, of course, one of them happened to be underage at the time. Now, as the Huffington Post reports, as of Thursday, Trump has yet to comment on the mounting misconduct accusations against Alabama Senate GOP nominee Roy Moore. That is a week after the Washington Post reported the first allegations involving Moore, then in his 30s, targeting girls as young as 14 years old. Now look, what Franken did was wrong and inappropriate, and there should be some consequences, like him stepping down. And yes, I did mention that, unlike Moore, he admitted it, he apologized, and his apology was accepted. But I have to mention that what he did was not on the same level as Roy Moore. Now, Roy Moore systematically targeted teen girls and then forced himself on them. Again, he molested a child and attempted to rape another girl in his car behind a restaurant. That's according to the victims. Now, the allegations against Moore are incredibly serious. But no. Let's only talk about Al Franken. Let's also talk about Weinstein, but let's not talk about O'Reilly. O'Reilly's our bud. Let's talk about Bill Clinton, which we should, but let's not talk about Roger Ailes. Do you see a pattern here, right? When it's a Democrat, we can talk about it all day. When it's a Republican, sure, let's not talk about it. That didn't happen. Fake news. Again, that's the pattern. Let's make this partisan and not at all about protecting women from this predatory behavior. See, but here's the thing, right? Donald Trump, he wrote the book on being a predator. He's been accused 19 times of sexual assault and harassment. One of them, Natasha Stoyanov, alleges that in 2005, Trump pushed her up against a wall at Mar-a-Lago and shoved his tongue down her throat. That's just one of the stories. There are countless stories. And some where he would just barge in on the women in the Miss Universe pageant, some of them as young as 15, the dressing room. He would barge in on their dressing room and see these women changing. On and on. Stories of Trump's sexual assault. And he's got the gall to ledger anybody. This is pure rank hypocrisy. And if you want to say that Al Franken, for speaking out, is also guilty of hypocrisy, then I guess that's fair, right? But you cannot point at one and ignore the other. That is the problem here. But that's exactly what Donald Trump and a lot of those right-wingers are doing. His followers are definitely doing the same. And what they've done is that they've turned this issue, which should be a nonpartisan issue. It should be an issue of, hey, if somebody does sexual assault or sexual harassment, then what they're doing is obviously wrong, and we should believe the victim. No, they turned it into, we should only believe the victim if they're a Republican. We should only believe the victim is a Republican. We should always go after the Democrat. No, this is an issue. This is not a partisan issue. No side is, has predilections towards doing this more than any other side. No, this is an issue of men in powerful positions abusing that power. But, of course, unfortunately, I'm going to leave you with a very depressing poll. According to polling from HuffPost YouGov conducted last month, 84% of Trump voters believe the allegations against Bill Clinton, and they should, and 74% believe those against Weinstein, and again, they should. However, only 18% think those against Bill O'Reilly are credible, of which we have phone conversations where he was talking about doing things with the loofahs or the falafels or whatever. Things that obviously the person on the other line were not interested in. And he had held a position of power over this person, right? But no, only 18% of people who are on Team O'Reilly or on the Republican side think that's credible, right? And only 6% believe them about Donald Trump. No, it can't be our guy. He's a Republican. He's a good Christian. But those Democrats, all the Democrats are evil. And all the women who are accusing of these good Christian Republicans, they're all lying sluts. This is the state of the current right wing on sexual assault. Now, again, I realize some on the left are defending Franken as well. For sort of the same reason. No, you can understand, Al Franken's such a good Democrat. He would never do something like this. I don't agree with that. It turns out anybody who has any degree of power can abuse that power. And look, if you want to make the argument like, oh man, he was just being a goofy, dorky, making a joke, an SNL joke. I don't know if I really buy that, but I suppose it is plausible. And I'm not going to litigate that, okay? All I know is that, in my opinion, what Al Franken did was completely wrong and uncalled for, and he does deserve consequences for that. Again, unfortunately, there seem to be some liberals that disagree with that. And on that, I say, I thought we were better than that. But look, I guess the big difference might be that Franken did admit it. He did apologize. But more, and a lot of these Republican right-wingers, they're defiant. And their excuses are comical. One of them is, I got permission from her mother. And, oh, the Bible allows it. Remember the story of Mary and Joseph. On and on. Now, look, there's no equating the two sides of this, right? One actually does care about sexual assault and harassment, and for the most part holds our people accountable. The other side seems to deny reality and only cares about using this issue of sexual assault as a political weapon against their enemy. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.